morning and happy Sabbath. Good morning. Today I'll be doing the lesson summary from our youth, young adult, and new believers lesson titled In Step with Jesus, the Journey Begins. This lesson is a little different from our adult lesson, but it's still great for our youth and our newcomers as well. This week's lesson was lesson 5, My Upside Down World. We begin with Sunday's lesson, which gives us a short narrative on a guy whose missionary work was on fire for Christ, but as he returned home, he began to slack. And throughout time, his relationship with God became dimmer and dimmer. This lesson teaches us that we as Christians have to continually be on fire for Christ, diligently seeking his face and word daily. And for me, I know that being a young youth and a young adult, that sometimes, when I come to church on Sabbath and, I have a high day, but then I realize that if I'm not continually in my word, that it's just the one day of being in Christ is not going to be sufficient enough to carry me around the other 6 days that I am out in the world, with my coworkers, with technology, with people who I hang around. It's not enough just to have that one day with God. I have to continually, each and every single day, be with him, because I will start to fade out, and I will start to dim, my light will start to dim if I'm not continually searching with God each day. Then we move to Monday's lesson, How Radical is the Worldview of Jesus. We dive into the story of Nicodemus and Jesus, where Nicodemus raises a comment to Jesus, and whereas Jesus tells Nicodemus that he needed to be born again, which tells us that to be born again, we must wholeheartedly become a new creature in Christ through baptism. By doing this, we have a clean state that enables us to fully accept God into our hearts. And it's not only through baptism, it's a mindset kind of thing, and it's also, within our hearts as well, because if we accept God in our hearts and our minds, then we'll be fully able and ready to accept Jesus, and that's going to lead us to wanting to be able to do baptism for our love for Christ. And Tuesday's lesson, breaking down barriers. We talk about Jesus and the Samaritan woman at the well. We learn that as Christians, we shouldn't judge, even if the individual person is entirely different from us. Jesus was able to give us chance after chance, and if we're still dirty, filthy rags, then who are we to judge one of God's children? Then we skip to Wednesday's lesson, From Outward Behavior to Inward Change. We talk about the Pharisees' high love and commitment for the laws, and how Jesus sees past that. Just following the laws won't get you into heaven, neither will works, but it is the inward change to have Jesus in your heart and mind that works hand in hand, making you, because you love the Lord with all your heart, follow his laws and do his will. And finally, we end with Thursday's lesson, From Sadness to Joy. We see the disciples saddened with Christ's crucifixion, but Jesus left them with a step-by-step handbook, filled with the lessons he taught and the experiences they shared. They were left with good news of Jesus, his soon return, and the truth about who he is. In closing, we should be ready to enable ourselves to be better Christians. It is not an easy walk. We won't all have the same perspectives on our own worldviews, but we should all love and see others in the same eyes that Jesus did, because he is coming back for those who are ready and have been doing his will to their very best abilities. Amen.
Amen.